What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about language learning. I'm going to be talking about learning Japanese. で、最初はね、日本語で自己紹介をしたいと思います。皆さん、ジョバネと申します。よろしくお願いします。今日はね、日本語の勉強について動画を作りたいんだと思います。じゃあ、これはね、うーん、日本語を勉強し始めた時はね、多分2年前から始めた。で、結構長いですね。結構長かったですね。まあ、でも、正直には、日本語が大好きね。面白い言語なんだけど、あの、アニメとか、日本の文化とかで、日本の綺麗ですごい綺麗な女性も大好きだね。まあ、で、それ以外は、俺はね、チャレンジ、難しいこととか、大好きので、日本語を勉強し始めたです。Yeah. Anyways, today, guys, I want to talk to you guys a little bit of why learning Japanese is so cool. Now, if anybody is out there thinking about studying Japanese, here are my things that I would probably say about the language and if whether or not I recommend you guys learning the language. Now, Japanese is a really cool, a cool way to express yourself. I think it's one of the most interesting languages that I've heard, which is one of the reasons why I started to learn it. Now, I would say that Japanese is pretty difficult to learn. Now, most people say it's difficult, but in all actuality, it's not difficult. No, not one language is difficult. Anybody could learn it. It's pretty straightforward as long as you stay consistent. Come on, I'm losing my voice. I think for the people that are trying to learn Japanese, I think it's very important for you to have an interest in the culture of Japanese people, and you don't have to know a lot about Japan itself. You learn on the way, but as long as you have like this type of interest for the culture, whether it's like entertainment, whether it's like traditional values or like philosophies that Japan has, that kind of a spark an interest, I think that itself can act as a catalyst for you to be efficient in your Japanese learning journey. I think you have to have a reason for what you have to have a reason to be studying Japanese. If you don't have that, you eventually kind of like just like drift away from your studies and not really take it seriously, and you know you're pretty much just wasting your time, to be honest. But yeah, I do recommend anybody that has an interest in Japanese culture to learn the language. If you are trying to come to Japan, it's 100% of a recommendation. You have to learn the language if you're coming to Japan to live, of course. If you're traveling, it's cool to know a few phrases and stuff. But if you're trying to like, stay here for a bit of some time in Japan, it's crucial to know the language. I think, embarrassingly, I have some friends that don't speak any Japanese, and if you don't know Japanese and you're living in Japan, you're pretty much living as a second class citizen, because you don't know the language, you don't know a lot of the things that are going on around you. You're kind of like a sitting duck in a lot of different situations. English is not gonna get you as far as it could, as opposed to if you come to Japan and know your Japanese. Life opens up when you learn Japanese here in Japan. Without Japanese, you miss out on like so much of what the country itself has to offer, and you miss out on like a lot of really cool stuff. Just interacting with the people here and stuff is just like it's amazing, you know. Now I'm gonna say that my Japanese, admittedly, I think it's still trash. For real, it's trash in my opinion. I've learned a lot, but you know, I still get lost every now and then when I'm interacting with Japanese people. Sometimes they tell me something, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you saying?" And these moments, they actually humble me and get me into the state of like shit, man. I still have a long way to go, and I still have to learn a whole bunch of other stuff. But right now, after 2 years of studying, I'm pretty happy with where I've been able to get to. And I mean, I'm still going to continue studying because there's like, I still want to understand more and more of Japan, you know? It's just interesting to like figure these things out and stuff. Just have challenges come your way. Now, I did mention that the reasons why I started learning Japanese was because I have an interest in the culture. Prior to this, I was traveling a lot, so I have interest in travel itself and just like having new experiences and stuff. But I also have an interest in the way Japanese people think, or the way that people in the East think. You know, their way of thinking, why they do certain things and stuff. And you know, Japan is one of those countries where you know the way of thinking is still kind of a bit of a mystery. I understand it more and more every single day, but you know, there's things that you know, like I question a lot. You know, if like I'm with a Japanese person or I'm talking to a Japanese person, and I'm just like like what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? And you know, it's just like this thing that kind of just like keeps me at in wonder. You know, and so yeah, so there's that. There's also the fact that Japanese women are like freaking beautiful. I think they're one of the most beautiful, they're one of the most beautiful women in the world. Yeah, it's that. It's the wonder of the Japanese, the way that people think. I think also the language itself has like a lot of kanji, which is like the alphabet that stems from Chinese characters. But the writing system in Japan in Japanese, it's really beautiful. And you know, I write some of it, and you know, it's I don't know. I think there's just a lot of beauty that comes with the Japanese characters and stuff. So it's also that, and what else? Let me see. What can I talk about? Yeah, I think that's the reasons why I started learning Japanese. Yeah, but I do recommend anybody to like go on and if you're interested, of course, to go on this journey of learning Japanese. And it's not hard, but it takes a long time to try and get this language down. You know, it's not an easy language. It's one of the harder ones to learn, and I think it's worth it for sure. You know, and the coolest thing that I've got from this language is the fact that you know you're born as a person, right? You have like this kind of identity and stuff. And then, you know, like for example, I'll give you an example because it's a little bit hard to explain. So I'm American. I have this American way of thinking, even though I have roots from Mexico. So I have like my persona, right? So once I came to Japan, I realized what Japan is really like. I realized what it's really like. I realized what the people are actually like and how different they are from like people in the West. And with that came this kind of like inspiration to learn, you know? And so, you know, as I learned the language of Japanese, I started to realize that my behavior didn't match the language itself and like the culture itself, you know. Um I would say I'm a little bit on the aggressive side of things. I'm a little bit hyperactive, and you know, when you speak Japanese or when Japanese people speak Japanese and the way they behave in society is totally different. It's a lot more reserved, it's a lot more quiet ish, and there's just a little bit more of subduing your words, subduing your behaviors in order to accommodate other people or just to make people feel at ease, you know? And with that, you know, came this other challenge, this other hurdle that I had to like kind of like overcome or like work around. Is it's not just learning the Japanese language, but learning how Japanese people behave and understanding why they behave that way with the words that they use and stuff, and like you know, vice versa. The words that they use in order not to like hurt somebody's feelings or just to be indirect in the way, because Japanese people are very indirect with their words. Well, most of them are, right? You know, there's you know people are different, and you know some people are a little bit more direct, but you know generally Japanese people are a little bit more. They're way more reserved. They're more careful about the way they choose their words, how they speak and stuff. So yeah, so with that, I realized that my own personality, my own behavior started to change as I started learning Japanese. You know, I started being a lot more polite. I started subduing a lot of things that I would normally wouldn't say in conversations and stuff when I learn when I'm speaking that Japanese. And of course, with your friends and stuff, you're a little bit more honest. But if you're like in a working environment in Japan and stuff, you hold a lot of words in, and you kind of like try and be as nice as possible sometimes, just in order to like accommodate the atmosphere. Because Japanese people work in a collective environment, and it's not so much of an um, individualistic approach to things when you're working or when you're just behaving in life in general here. Yeah. So that's one cool thing that I realized about learning Japanese, and something that changed me in a way. And I think it's really cool because you're like, I have my frame, of course, but it learning Japanese allowed me to enter a different mind state, a different frame. And it's kind of a beautiful thing just being able to shift from frame to frame, and as sometimes mixing these frames together into like a lot something a little bit more colorful, I would say. Sometimes I am super polite, and then all of a sudden I just snap into like a very direct approach when I'm speaking to people. And it's kind of fun just jumping around and experimenting with different types of personalities. And I think that itself gives you some type of depth to your character. And in the long run, I think it just makes life a little bit more interesting, a lot more fun. You can play with a lot of different things inside your own head and the way you interact with people. Yes. But those are my 2 cents on the matter on like what Japanese is like, what you learn from it, what can it bring out of you. No, そういうことですね。Oh, and one other thing that I want to point out. When you learn Japanese, they say a lot of things, or they have words that we don't have in English, right? And, it allows your brain to flex a little bit. It allows your brain to like think in ways that you wouldn't have been able to think in your own language, well, in English. And there's a lot of new words that come up. It's just different ways of thinking. And there's also the fact that you have to move your mouth in different shapes and rhythms when you're speaking Japanese. And that itself is cool because you change your voice, and you like changing everything. You changing also your body posture. You I think when I speak Japanese, sometimes my body gets a little bit more stiff, not stiff, but a little bit less with momentum, a little bit more rigid. Nah, not rigid. It just moves a little bit different as opposed to when I'm speaking in English. Like for example, if I'm speaking in English or if I'm speaking in Spanish, I use a little bit more of my hands, as you can see. But when I'm speaking in Japanese, using your hands is a little ちょっとめんどくさい. A little strong, maybe, perhaps. I haven't I don't know if I use my hands too much when I speak Japanese or not now. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, that's another cool thing that happens when you're learning Japanese. You get to, communicate differently with your hands, with your body, with your posture, with your voice. Yeah, things are just different. Oh. All right. Anyways, so if you have an interest in Japanese, I'm closing off right now. If you have an interest in Japanese, I highly recommend My Rice is Ready. My rice is ready right here. I'm ready to eat right now. Sorry, I digress again. So, if you have any plans to come into Japan, if you have any interest in like learning Japanese culture and stuff, I really, 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 really recommend you guys to learn Japanese. Please learn Japanese. If you're coming to Japan to live, you have to learn Japanese. To work for however long it might be, learn Japanese. It's like totally worth it. If you don't know Japanese, you're a second class citizen. I'm sorry to tell you that, but that's how I feel about it. You don't have to listen to me, but I'm just giving you my opinion. You have to learn Japanese in order to interact with the Japanese people. You're just gonna miss out on so much if you don't know Japanese. Yes, of course, there are people here that speak English, but come on, you're in Japan. Experience the culture fully. You only have one life, and you have to like make the best out of it. Yeah, speak speak in Japanese, learn new ways of thinking, and just make the best life possible wherever you can. And this applies to any type of other language that you're trying to learn. Yeah. さあ、ということで、皆さん聞いてくれてありがとうございました。じゃあ、できれば、よかったら、自分の意見を教えてくださいんじゃないですか。何ああ、俺の日本語は完璧じゃないだね。まあ、それ以上ですね。皆さん、またよろしくお願いします。またよろしくお願いします。I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, sayonara, deuces. I hope to make another video soon. If you have any questions about anything, just comment in the comment section. Comment in the comment section down below, and just let me know if you have any questions about Japan life in Japan, travel, health, about anything, to be honest. Because your boy's trying to make some good ass videos now. I'm thinking a little bit more and more about what kind of type of videos I want to make, and I just want to put some more content out there for the website, for the web. Not that the web needs any more content out there, but I'm just saying maybe I can help anybody out in a way or two. Try to do my thing to help you do your thing. Scratch my back, you scratch my back. I don't know how about. Alright, anyways, alright. Sayonara, deuces. Greetings from Japan. Yeah. Peace from Japan. Good luck, guys.